Hello and good evening, everyone. Today I'm here to discuss about there is no other God beside our God. Our God is a living God who made the heavens, the stars, the universe, and everything that is in this universe. God is so powerful. There is no other God. Everything that we can name is created by Him alone. For God is the Creator. Here in First Samuel chapter 5, verse 4, I'm going to read. And when they arose early on the morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord, and the head of Dagon and both the palm of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump Dagon was left to him. Here we come to know that there's come a story when the Palestine and Israel were fought a war, and the Palestine wins because of some sins which have been committed by the priestly family. And then we come to know that they took the ark of God here, but then God's power is still showing in His commandment, in His law. There comes the story behind for these things to happen. Israel is a nation which has been chosen by God, and actually, in the first time, God does not intend Israel to have a king. In the time of Judges, there is a man called Eli, or Eli, we can say. Uh, Eli had two sons, Hophni and Phinehas. Those two sons are very wicked, and then the two sons they cannot control their appetite, they cannot control their pleasure, they cannot control their lust. And then what happens to the family? Every priest is expected to be holy, and the son, there's a the son is to succeed his father, and then every priest's son is also expected to be holy. But it fell. Hophni and Phinehas are growing very wicked. They are no longer in a way that God wants them to be. It is the customs of a priest to minister before the Lord. And when a person comes to worship the Lord, they have to bring something for sacrifice. But Hophni and Phinehas cannot uh, control their appetite, so they have taken whatever is good for them. They cannot wait even to finish the sacrifice. That's made them the people. People start to see. People come to see the sacredness of God becoming because of the presence of Hophni and Phinehas. They made God to be a radicalist, but it is not God who is radicalist, but their practice, their ways of living, making our God be received. And then when uh, they have also a news that they have their way of conducting with the women is not good. Whenever a person comes to meet the Lord, whenever a woman came, there is a news arrive for Eli that their sons were doing all kind of wicked things. So there's has been a this has been a story behind of what happens of the above text we read First Samuel chapter 5 verse 4. And then Samuel was there as a young boy serving in the priestly service because Samuel is a prayer answered child. And then he served God faithfully as a young boy. He served God wholeheartedly, faithfully. But the two sons of Eli were very wicked. They cannot succeed. They cannot continue the work of priest as his father was, because their way of doing was very, very dangerous. And it says, there come boys calling to Samuel. And he says, Samuel, Samuel. And Samuel was sleeping. He don't know about anything. God, he don't have any consciousness about God speaking to him. But God directly called Samuel. When he heard calling for the first time, he's just confused. And then he say, "Oh Lord, do you call me?" When I say, "Oh Lord," it must. I'm sorry. It must be, "Oh my master, Eli, do you call me?" And then what does it say? "No, I don't call you. Go and sleep." And then he sleep again, and a voice came again, Samuel, Samuel. And then he came again to his master, in a sense, his ally, to his priest, to his high priest Eli. And then he said, "I don't call you, sleep." And then when Eli perceived that it is the calling of God, Eli said to Samuel, when he just lay down to rest, when you hear the sound again, you just say, "Lord, I'm here." And then Samuel sleep, and then Samuel hear the sound calling his name, and he say, "Lord, I'm here." And then and the Lord came and stood and called, and Samuel said, "Lord, I'm here." At this time, God communicates Samuel. And God told everything about what is going to happen in the life of Israel. And then here it says, the sins of Eli family is too great. It says, no sacrifice can take away, no sacrifice, no earthly human sacrifice can take away the sins of the two. It has gone very bad. Here the vision come like this. It says, in your family, you will see not all its persons in a family, and also your two sons will die in the same day. And the word came, and after that, there's a war broke out between Israel and Palestine. Yeah, the battle was going very sore, and the people of Israel have been dying. After we can count the numbers every day, the died number of Israel has been increasing so much day by day, and when they cannot longer resist the attack of the Philistine, they say, "Oh, let us take the ark of the God, let us take the ark of the Lord, so that may save us, or that may at least save us." But knowing the law of God, having the law of God is not a safety for us, but following, practicing is a must for us to do. So, brother and sister, if we say, "I'm born in a family where my parents keep the law of God," or some may boast that, "Oh, I have born in a family where they recite the law of God very well." Okay, well, you're good. You have very much sense to be followed. But if we don't follow, it is same as we don't do anything. We don't have hearing the law of God will not save us. Or we can say, hearing the law of God is no good at all, but obeying the law of God will not lead us into sin. The Israel have the law of God, and then the priests have the clear understanding of the law of God, but they don't follow it. The two sons of the priest are not following at all. So they were falling into tribes, and when the war broke out, even if they have a axe, they cannot win. When they bring the ark of God, they were very happy, thinking that ark will give them victory. And then the Philistines said, "Oh, they're bringing the ark. They have heard the story of how God has destroyed Egypt." But then the Philistines are taking courage to fight. He says, "Let us fight, or we will be slaves, we will be servants of that Hebrew." So They're trying very hard, fighting very hard, and then they win. They take over the ark, and then when they captures, when they attack the ark, they bring to the to the temple. They bring to the Philistine temple, where the Philistines are worshiping a Dagon, and where they erect images, idols. But when they keep the ark of God in that temple, that idol or that statue, their God worshipping, falling down before the ark of God. And it says they pick it up again, and then again it is falling down when it rose up early in the morning next day. And then all their hands are cut, all their legs are cut, only the stump, only his feet are left over. Everything is broken monstrously. And not only this, they experience a pestilence, they experience a plague, they experience all kind of the diseases. And hence they say they cannot keep the law of God, they cannot keep the ark of God in this place where there is no priest. And then they safely return the ark of God to Israel. So here we can learn from this story. Today it is not a big message, but it is an elaboration of how sins affect our life. When a person, when a pastor, or we can say in this context we can say pastor, when a priest, Israel are expected that the priest should be holy. When we expect somebody to be so holy and it is not, it is our hopes are turning upside down, and also God is expecting that priest sons to be holy like his father, but then their conduct, their way of doing things, really horrible, and then all these are happening. We see the history. That this history is not just to tell the story, but we are to take a heart that we should not do these things. We are not to follow the same mistake. We should have to overcome. Means we need to erase everything that is called sin, and we need to follow a good step, a good work, just as Samuel has did, not following according to the work of Phinehas and Hophni. May God bless everyone, and let us take our hearts, brother and sister. God is the one who made everything. No idols, no any other gods can supersede our God. He is the maker, our creator, and we should pay our supreme reverence for Him alone. If we fail to show our respect and regard, if we sin in such a way that we can do everything, or if we does not regard, if we does not honor our God, God will not honor us too. What does God say? I will honor those who honor me. May God bless everyone. As we hear and as we understand the way of God working in our life, the way that God is so great, we need to pay our supreme reverence. We need to humble before our God. May God bless everyone.